Happy Monday, gents. It's that time of the week. Time for yet another recap. Interesting week in fantasy. Hang on. I feel like that's making a lot of noise. I'm printing something. This is my 3D printer here. It's a 15-hour print. So it's been... Anyway. That didn't occur to me until I turned it... Anyway, here we are, gents. Interesting week for fantasy. So as you know, those that watched last week's recap, I was really in a toss-up between who should be the game of the week. Skylar versus Griffin, or Chumba versus Alec. I ended up going Griffin and Skylar. Excuse me. Due to the possibility of Skylar moving to 5 and 5 and Griff falling to 5 and 5. Both in the same division. Skylar was on a win streak. Whatever. The Kennesaw Mountain Landis team. Real question marks surrounding them this year. It's hard to figure them out. They ended up being in the game of the week, and it was a stinker. An absolute stinker. Griff fucking ran away with it. A huge week for that. Hold on. That, Okay, it doesn't make a difference. Anyway, we'll get back to it. So, very interesting week, as I said. Total stinker. Skylar only put up 170 points. Not our lowest scorer. Skylar squeaks out of the punishment of owing a chug. What I was just checking a second ago. Chumba did not do his chug from week 9. Even though he was directly told. So he did not do his chug when he was supposed to. Didn't do it. That was our other option for the game of the week. And that would have been a much better game for the game of the week, if we're being honest. Alec beats Chumba here 233.5 to 232. Now, Chumba didn't do his chug. He owes 15 points. So it increases that differential. But it almost meant a lot. Okay? And it ends up being 233.5 to 217. But still, that was a good game. A good matchup. Another good matchup, myself versus Eddie. No idea that this was going to be the squeaker that it was, the eking out a win that it was for me. Eddie and I went into Sunday. Eddie was winning by 40-ish points or something like that. And I pulled out the win by 4 points. 4-point win for myself. Get back on track. Picking up, who did I pick up on Sunday? Jack Flaherty. I picked him up yesterday. That pushed me over the edge. Got 9 points. Made all the difference. Carson Benz going 5 for 5 for the Mets. No big deal. Continuing forward, John gets another win. John is lucky. Brochard really just existing this year in the league. Not his best year, but John really putting up some decent numbers. Making an argument for himself. Trying to, crack the fantasy baseball league. Finally, after what? This is year 4, I believe, of fantasy baseball. John finally making a name for himself. Moves to 7-3. Again, huge for John. Never been in this position for fantasy baseball. Usually at the very bottom of the league. Brochard 3-6-1. That tie really helping him out in the standings. Makes a difference. Makes a difference. A tie does not count as a loss, and it changes his playoff odds, which are significantly better than Owen, who is still 1-8, or yeah, whatever. Jake versus Connor. Connor, again, another perennial terrible baseball guy, and general fantasy guy overall. Connor has never had a successful year in fantasy, but here he is, moving to 8-2, 260 to 207, getting the win over Jake. 8-2 for Connor. Jake's at 5-5. So Jake's in that like kind of middle section of what's going on. Is he going to be good? Is he going to make the playoffs? Is he going to fall out? Jake's one of those guys. He's made the playoffs. He's made the top 3, I think, twice in our time. So Jake is kind of hovering, waiting for his time to strike. And then Cameron, again, is our regular lead in the league kind of guy. He's always at the top. Has only won the league once, I believe, but nonetheless, here he is, 339.5 to Owen's 169, and that means that Owen owes our chug this week at 169. Like I mentioned, kind of Skyler sneaked out just a single point that Owen beat him by for that last place. So Owen owes our chug. Absolute stinker in the game of the week this week. Easy win for Griff. As we look forward to the next game of the week, we're putting Cameron. I don't know why I'm saying it. I said it weird that first. Whatever. Putting Cameron and John head to head. Chumba's Childhood House versus Juice Balls. 9-1 versus 7-3. This is John's chance to make a push for that division title. Again, Cameron's still at 9-1, easily in first place. Let's see what the 2 games ahead of John. This would get John a full game closer to Cameron if he could pull out the win. Is it going to happen? Is it not? Who knows? Cameron is at a 99% chance to make the playoffs, basically guaranteed, followed by Connor and I tied at 96 and John at 90. We still got a couple weeks. We're at week 11. We go to week 18, so we got some time. But you really got to start making those pushes. Brochard at a 17%. Owen and Chumba both at a 1, with Alec barely hanging on to a 3% chance to make the playoffs. So everybody's still in the playoffs, even in week 11. They're still in the playoff race, but really got to start making those moves, start making things happen. Hopefully my team is back on track after falling. Only Connor was able to take advantage. We'll see if that continues or not. But that's a recap, fellas. Happy Monday. Let's go Knicks. We'll see some of you at volleyball tonight. And that's a recap. Goodbye.